everyone. Welcome to Rote Reviews. I'm Vance Bastian here with my co-host S.A. Baz Collins.
Hello.
We're really glad you're here with us. Today we're reviewing Connie and Carla, good old camp classic. The official blurb is, a mob mix-up in Chicago sends two chanteuses screaming for L.A., where they score a perfect gig posing as drag queens on the dinner theater cabaret circuit. That's not quite true. Things get extra weird when a guy falls for one of the girls. Also, kind of sort of not quite true, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
So the corrections to the blurb, they don't really end up on the circuit. They end up working at a single club that does drag shows. And during their audition, they sing live, which stuns everyone because apparently the gays and the drag queens didn't know you could sing live.
Right.
Classic. The setup, however, that gets them there was the only problem I had with the film. And I generally have that problem with rom-coms. In Chicago, their handler from whom they borrowed money stashes some drugs in one of their purses when a collector comes to collect. And then, of course, things go awry. The handler gets shot right in front of them. They run screaming and immediately have to leave Chicago. That's not how you respond to that situation. Now, I do understand that the killer, i.e. mob boss, had a police officer on his payroll, but you go find a different one, or you go up a level from local police to county police. You don't run across the country.
You know why they did? Because the script said so.
That's because the script, right, exactly. Otherwise known as the plot hook. Aside from the setup,
that setup does lead to one of the best bits in the entire movie.
Yes, it does, because they aren't aware that a package of cocaine is in one of the purses, and while she's digging through the purse, it explodes in the car. And Toni Collette has the best cocaine patter ever.
You know, here's the thing. What I think I love most about Connie and Carla, well, one thing I learned about it was that it's actually Nia Vardalos' spin on Some Like It Hot.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so that was the idea. It was that it was a retake of that, but going the other direction. And so it's kind of cute in that, and that's how it was viewed as far as the concept goes, and I guess how it was pitched. But it is, the thing I love most about it is that it is pure fluff for a rom-com.
Yes.
High sugar diet. Every gay trope you can pull is in this movie, and it is almost lampooned in this movie.
A little bit.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's really kind of interesting because it also hits on all the, you know, gays love show tunes and Debbie Reynolds, the diva, you know, it ticks all the boxes religiously. And really, I think the only reason it works as well as it does is because of Toni Collette and Nia Vardalos.
Yeah, their
that chemistry
is spot on.
Is spot on. They harmonize well together. They work really well together from a musical standpoint. And you get to see their music chops in this this movie. But you know, yeah, some of the plot devices are really kind of that's a little afternoon special kind of thing. You know, I mean, it has those. But if you just want a feel good movie, you want to sit down, be entertained, laugh a little, you know, enjoy a bunch of drag queens, you know, especially when you know, they think that, you know, why are you wearing your bra during rehearsal? And then they all fill up Nia Vardalos. And Tony's just like,
gotcha.
You know, but, you know, it's a great film from that standpoint. It's fun to just throw it on, have a big bowl of popcorn and laugh your ass off. And, you know, I love Alec Mapa. So seeing him in this movie and him doing the typical Filipino accent was just hysterical.
Stereotypical, like to an almost...
But he is! So, I mean, it's kind of funny that it came from him.
I know, but it's kind of did the directors ask him to go that far with it?
I don't know, because I've seen Alec Mapa's stage show, and he does that.
Okay. All right.
He plays into that because he knows that people have this stereotype. So what he does is that he pitches it in a way and he uses it in a way that's completely disarming, but at the same time he's showing it in your face. Yeah, this is what you think we all sound like,
Got it.
and so since it came from him and I knew of his other work,
Right.
I was okay with it because he had signed off on it. I don't think if it was something that monstrous that he would have gone through with it. I think he would have pitched a fit.
Okay.
But be that as it may, it is stereotypical to the nth degree. Well, the whole thing is stereotypical to the nth degree. It really like I said, it pulls out all the tropes, pulls out all the stereotypes. They're all there, and in the middle of it is David Duchovny looking lost as fuck. Like he wandered off the X-Files arc and wandered right into WeHo.
I will say his storyline is the most original I've seen in a comedy in most of my life. It's the one time we have somebody looking for their lost gay brother, which I've not seen anywhere else.
Right. And it highlights how families spin a tale to fit the family's purposes, but not necessarily the queer person in their family. And I think that's one of the things that storyline really highlights, especially when David's character has that conversation with his brother, and his brother tells him how it all really went down.
Right.
And even then, in the tragedy of that moment, they still find the humor in it. It's what families do in some respects, and they're caught with something like that, especially if, in this case, the brothers were on the same side, essentially. They loved each other. They cared about each other. And, so there was that element to it. And even they, in all of the craziness of their family dynamics, they still found the humor in it. When he says, "Oh, I'm going to let mom and dad know you, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Oh yeah, do that. Go ahead, do that." I mean, those little sequences really kind of bring to light the family dynamic, and you get a real sense of that between the two brothers. But yeah, you just have to forgive it and just let it roll, and you will have a good time. Tons of stage musical numbers. Every old classic Hollywood musicals box is ticked off in this South Pacific Funny Girl. They do the whole gamut. They even bring in Grease and have Debbie Reynolds sing it. So big spoiler there, the diva shows up, and of course it's tits out, lights on, and let's do the music, let's do it right now, kind of thing. So why don't we get to our ratings, unless you have something else to add?
Nope.
Okay, let's get to our ratings. You want to go first, or you want me to?
You.
Okay. So for overall production, I give it a 5 because it looks really nice. You can tell they put the money into it. There were a couple of studio-esque kind of cover-ups for outside locations that were a bit odd and kind of like, but again, rom-com, just let it go, kind of thing. The screenwriting, I thought it was interesting, but it did have some plot devices that were kind of phoned in. So for overall, I give it a 5. For screenwriting, I'll say I give it a 3.5. I think it could have been tighter. There could have been things that could have been played with the stereotypes that could have gone a little bit better and been a little bit more pointed, and it might have made the humor even more funny. The sound, lighting, and score. The score is great. It's just a ton of show tunes, and the band that eventually plays at the end, they have one of the best moments where they finally pay off. There's a bet going on in the band that is kind of not known until the moment it's revealed. So look for that. So the screenplay, I think, gave it the 3.5. The sound and lighting were well done. You didn't have terrible audio, or the lighting wasn't too weird or anything. So, 3.5, I think, is pretty good. The art direction, I loved, with the exception of some of the, like I said, the sets that suddenly replaced what was outside once. And so some of it was just weirdly not matching. So I give that a 4. The casting I thought was spot on. It was great. I gave it a 5. The director, and this is like cinematography as well. We should make that clear. Cinematography as well as the actual director. So the DP and the D. The thing is, I know, in a gay podcast, I just said DP and the D.
Don't.
I need a hashtag. Anyway. And if you're gay, you know.
Happy Easter egg.
Right, exactly. So the directing, I give a 5. It was pure fluff. The way that they handled the humor, they allowed all of the actors to have their moment. Even all the other drag queens that join the ladies up on stage, they get their little bits to have. The revolving naming of one of the drag queens who doesn't have a name is really funny. Some of the ones they come up with. So averaging all that out, I come up with a 4.5.
You missed the queer themes.
Oh, queer themes. Sorry. Queer themes, I gave it a 5, just because they were all there and none of them are harmful in any way. So yeah, it's a 4. It's a 4.5. Sorry about that.
No, we got there in the end.
Right. Much like the ladies in this movie. And it also shows how the gays love their divas, and they kind of become localized divas, So.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. Overall production, I gave it a 4. Similar reasons to yours. Most of the time, it just didn't get in the way of the story, which was great. Script screenplay, also a 4. Like you, I thought there were some points that could have been tightened up. Overall, quite good. Sound lighting score, I gave a 4 because I think the score elevated it a bit. But it was also exactly what the story needed, so it didn't get in the way either. So 4. Right. Art direction, costuming, I did give that a 5 because they pulled out some costumes. And I mean,
that's
it revolves around the drag world. There had better be costuming, and there was.
And makeup and hair.
Yep. And it was all there.
Yeah.
And, women pretending to be men, pretending to be women, they got the costuming right for that.
Right. Yeah, even with the socks.
I was going to say, yep, they even stuffed the socks. That was
I went
great.
back to the Julie Andrews line from Victor Victoria. If I keep doing this, they're going to look like 2 empty wallets. Drag life.
Yep. Casting, I gave a 4. I felt everybody was appropriately cast. My socks weren't entirely knocked off, but that's not bad. Yeah. The story worked absolutely as it should, and everybody did really well.
And there was chemistry between them all.
Yeah, exactly. Directing cinematography, we won't fall into that Easter egg again. I did give a 4.5. I thought it was beautifully shot. I just think the director missed a couple points. Not much. 4.5 is, really close to good. Queer themes presented, I gave it a 4 because it certainly presented all of the show tunes and stereotypical gay themes, but there were a couple more modern-y themes, I think, that are just missed because of the era. So I just want you to go into it. It was
2004, so they filmed it in 2003-ish.
Right. So I want to go into it with that context. So overall rating for me, 4.5 as well.
There you go. Another one for just a fun-filled, you need to escape from the world kind of film. Exactly. I highly recommend it. So kudos to the ladies, Toni Collette and Nia Vardalos. They pulled that one off for us.
Yes, they did.
And it's interesting. It makes me want to go watch Some Like It Hot again.
Now that I know that, I kind of do too.
Yeah. All right. So remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. If you have
what are we doing next week?
Yes, I'll get to that. Remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends, and if there's a movie you want us to review, put it down in the comments. Let us know, and let us know what you thought about Connie and Carla. But next week we are going to do a fun-filled new release of Q-Force, the Sean Hayes produced queer superhero kind of 18 spy tomfoolery that goes on in the back alleys of WeHo. So and it has, as you said, it has a lot of the gay royalty celebs that are doing the voices for it. So looking forward to that. And it looks to be a lot of fun. So we're doing an animation next week. Yay! So until next week, this is Baz Collins and my co-host
Vance Bastion
saying have a wonderful week. Please see this movie and come back next week so we can tell you all about Q-Force. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.